All right, let's dive in. Today we're going deep with Anaxagoras. This guy, he was a real game changer in ancient Greek philosophy.
Oh, absolutely. A fascinating figure.
We're going to be using, we've got this document all about him. And of course, we can't forget Bertrand Russell's classic, A History of Western Philosophy. Those are our guides for today.
Excellent choices. Solid foundation.
Now, whether you're, 60 and loving history or a teenager just starting to explore philosophy, this is going to be a fun ride.
It's a wild ride for sure.
We're aiming for some serious aha moments here.
Sure.
By the way, this is actually our 8th episode in a 61-part series on Western philosophy. We've got a lot of ground to cover, folks. So, Anaxagoras, he really shakes things up. Right?
Oh, he does. Big time. One of the things that really got me was his cosmology, how he saw the universe beginning. And you see, a lot of those early Greek philosophers, they were all about everything coming from one single source, like water, air, fire, you name it.
Right. The one primal element.
Exactly. But Anaxagoras, he had a different take.
Ugh. So what did he think? If it wasn't one simple element, what was it?
Well, he believed that the universe, it all started as this giant mix, like every ingredient you could possibly imagine, all blended together.
Kind of like a cosmic soup.
Exactly. A primordial soup, if you will. It's a pretty different idea, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a shift from those single element theories. So everything's mixed up. How does it become the world we know? What gets the ball rolling, so to speak?
Well, this is where it gets really cool. Anaxagoras introduces this force, this powerful force called nous. It means mind.
Nous. And what does this mind do?
Nous acts on this primordial mixture. It sets it spinning, whirling, and that motion causes everything to separate. And that's how we get the world as we know it.
So nous is like the cosmic chef whipping up the universe.
That's a great way to put it.
Sounds like he was way ahead of his time.
Oh, he was. And this nous idea, it's really important. You see, earlier philosophers were focused on physical stuff as the foundation of everything. But Anaxagoras, he's saying, mind is what matters most. Mind is the organizing principle.
It makes you wonder, if nous kicked off the universe, what does that mean for our own minds? What can they do?
That's a great question, and one that we'll explore further as we delve deeper into Anaxagoras' thought. But first, let's look at another key aspect of his philosophy, the concept of balance and justice in the universe. He wasn't just concerned with how it all began, but also how it continues to exist, the principles at play.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Justice in the universe, what did that even mean?
Well, Anaxagoras believed there was a natural justice that prevented any one element from taking over. It's all about balance.
So no one element gets to be the boss.
Exactly. Everything has its place. Everything has limits. Think of fire. It burns, it consumes, but it leaves behind ashes, which is earth. It's a cycle.
Ah, I see. So it's like a system of checks and balances, but on a cosmic scale.
Exactly. A beautiful illustration of interconnectedness at the most fundamental level.
Wow, that's a powerful image. Makes you wonder if there are similar principles at play in human affairs, doesn't it? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we've got this cosmic mix, this mind-blowing nous, and now this idea of cosmic justice. What else did Anaxagoras explore?
Well, he was also a very keen observer of the natural world and a sharp thinker. His methods really foreshadow what we call the scientific method. He believed in using reason, observation to develop his theories, not just relying on myths or traditions.
Wow, that's ahead of its time. So what's an example of this?
Well, remember how some philosophers thought water was the most fundamental element? And Anaxagoras, he argued against that. He said, look, if water was really the primal substance, wouldn't the world just be a giant ocean by now?
Makes sense. It's a simple argument, but it's really powerful. He's using logic and what he sees to challenge the accepted ideas.
Precisely. That's deductive reasoning for you. And that, my friend, is the cornerstone of the scientific method. Anaxagoras, he was a pioneer, along with other Greek thinkers of his time. They laid the groundwork for how we understand the world today.
This is incredible stuff. And we've only scratched the surface of Anaxagoras' ideas. But before we dive deeper, let's recap. We've got this revolutionary concept of a primordial mixture, this powerful force of nous, this cosmic justice and balance, and his early contributions to the scientific method. It's clear that Anaxagoras was brilliant.
He really was. He challenged the conventional wisdom, and his ideas continue to shape Western thought.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, folks, because in the next part, we're going even deeper into Anaxagoras' mind. We'll explore his view of matter itself.
Oh, you won't want to miss that. It's where things get really interesting.
Trust me, folks, you'll want to be there for this. We're back, and wow, Anaxagoras really throws down the gauntlet with his ideas about matter. Like, even the tiniest speck of something could be infinitely complex. It's wild.
It does make you wonder if he was somehow tapping into insights that we're only now beginning to grasp with modern physics.
Right. But you mentioned there were some key differences between his ideas and what we know about atoms today.
Oh, absolutely. We can't just equate seeds with atoms as we understand them now.
So what are the main differences? What sets Anaxagoras' seeds apart from atoms in our science textbooks?
Well, first off, Anaxagoras, he didn't see his seeds as indivisible. Remember, he believed that matter could be divided, divided, and divided again forever.
So no hard limit. They weren't like the solid, unbreakable atoms we usually picture.
Exactly. It's a world of infinite divisibility. And another big difference, Anaxagoras believed that his seeds, they weren't just simple building blocks. Each one carried the qualities of the bigger thing it came from.
Interesting. Can you give me an example?
Sure, imagine a tiny seed of gold. No matter how small, it would still have all the properties of gold. It's not just structure, it's about inherent qualities.
Whoa, that's a big idea. So it's not just a physical thing. It's like everything's connected on a deeper level, even the tiniest bits of matter.
You got it. For Anaxagoras, the universe is this incredible tapestry woven together by these tiny, powerful seeds. Infinite diversity, infinite complexity.
This is blowing my mind. I always thought of atoms as these, like, tiny billiard balls. But Anaxagoras' seeds, they're so much more dynamic, so much more interesting.
And that's what philosophy does, right? It shakes things up, makes us question what we think we know. Anaxagoras, he pushes us to look beyond the everyday, to see the hidden depths of the universe.
He was a real visionary, that's for sure. And his ideas, they still resonate today. Okay, so we've gone from the origin of the universe to the very essence of matter. It's amazing how much ground we've covered, all thanks to Anaxagoras.
It's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
And speaking of wild rides, where are we headed next on this philosophical journey?
Well, next up, we're tackling the atomists, Leucippus and Democritus. They took this idea of the building blocks of reality and ran with it. We're talking atoms as the indivisible, indestructible units of everything.
Sounds like Anaxagoras really paved the way for them with his ideas about seeds. I can't wait to see how these ideas evolved. But before we jump ahead, let's take a moment to appreciate the brilliance of Anaxagoras.
Absolutely. It's important to reflect on what we've learned and to acknowledge the incredible insights of this philosopher.
You know, it's funny, thinking about those seeds, it makes you wonder if Anaxagoras was onto something, like he had this intuition about the quantum world or something.
It's tempting to draw those connections, isn't it? But we have to be careful not to project modern ideas onto ancient thinkers.
Right. Different frameworks and all that.
Yeah.
But still, his ideas about seeds were pretty revolutionary for his time.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when we delve into the atomists, Leucippus and Democritus, we'll see how they built on some of these concepts in fascinating ways. But before we get ahead of ourselves, maybe it's time to bring it all together. What are some of the key takeaways from our deep dive with Anaxagoras?
Yeah, let's do that. Where do we even begin? I mean, we started with this wild idea of a primordial mixture, everything jumbled up in the beginning.
And then there's Nous, that cosmic mind setting everything in motion, creating order from chaos.
And who could forget cosmic justice, keeping everything in balance, no one element hogging the spotlight. It's amazing how he saw these connections between the universe and ideas of fairness and order.
It speaks to a holistic view of reality, doesn't it? The universe isn't just a random collection of stuff. There are principles at work.
Exactly. And then there's matter itself. And Anaxagoras blows the lid off that one too. Infinite divisibility. Those seeds, tiny packets of pure potential.
It's a far cry from the simple, static view of matter that many held at the time.
Right. He's saying there's more to reality than meets the eye. There's depth, there's complexity, even in the smallest things.
And that's a message that still resonates today. There's always more to discover. There's always another layer to peel back.
Anaxagoras was a true pioneer, challenging conventions, pushing the boundaries of thought. His ideas about the universe, about mind, about matter, they've had a profound impact on Western philosophy. And you know what? They still make us think. They still make us question, all these centuries later.
And that's the beauty of engaging with these ancient thinkers, isn't it? They offer us a fresh perspective, a chance to step outside our own time and see the world anew.
Absolutely. It's been a real privilege exploring these ideas with you. And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of Anaxagoras. We hope you've learned something new, maybe even had a few of those aha moments we were talking about.
And don't forget, our philosophical adventure continues next time. We're moving on to the atomists, Leucippus and Democritus. They're going to take us even deeper into the mysteries of matter.
You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep those minds curious, folks, and keep on diving deep into the world of ideas.